Right now at 5, many of the main roads have cleared out through the sun and under traffic. But as temperatures continue to fall, those roads could soon become dangerous once again. I'm Chris Warner. I'll have the latest in a live report.
Plus, federal lawmakers reflect on the attack on the Capitol that happened 1 year ago today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Another day of very low temperatures in the 4 states, but the snow is behind us. This is KOAM News at 5. We go first to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, most of us got a pretty good dosing of snow. It wasn't a big storm, but out of a little storm, on average, most of us picked up 1 to 2 inches of snow, a little bit less once you got down into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Now we just have the clouds. This storm is racing off toward the east, heading away from us, producing a lot of snow across the eastern third of the country. What we have to deal with now are the temperatures. It's cold. We're sitting into the mid-teens, and we have this light northerly wind, but when it's this cold, it gives you wind chill factors. Feels like 4 in Lamar, 3 in Webb City, 2 in Iola, 2 in Yates Center, and these wind chills are going to be low as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. So if you do have to go out, you got to watch some of the side roads, and you need to bundle up as our temperatures slide back through the teens. We are going to warm back up. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
See you then. Multiple accidents on the snowy roads, including this one that closed a portion of eastbound Interstate 44 down to 1 lane this morning. A pickup truck pulling a fifth-wheel camper overturned at mile marker 21 near Carthage. Both the Missouri Highway Patrol and the Carthage Fire Department responded. There were no serious injuries. While snow has melted off many of the main roads in the area, there are still concerns as the temperatures continue to drop through the evening. KOAM's Chris Warner is live at 7th and Rangeline with more.
Well, here in Joplin, a number of the main roads cleared out as traffic came out and the sun broke through the clouds. But now as we're heading into the evening, the sun goes down, these roads could turn dangerous once again. Now, earlier this morning, there was still some slush on the roads in the city as plow crews worked to clear off all they could. However, as you can see in some of this video, the roads have a bit of a shine to them from all the melted snow. And that water on the roads could refreeze through the night, causing icy conditions and black ice, which is ice you may not see until you're sliding on it.
Be aware of that. If you have to get out, if you don't have to drive, don't drive. But if you find yourself driving, regardless of the category of roads you're on, you could encounter something like that. So I think drive accordingly, slow yourself down, give yourself plenty of time.
Now, it goes without saying the conditions are the same across state lines in Kansas. According to candrive.org, the state's road condition website, most roads in southeast Kansas were back to seasonal conditions. However, officials have the same concerns about roads refreezing, and they're continuing to urge drivers to take it slow and safe.
I'd just say for the traveling public, just because it doesn't seem significant doesn't mean it can't be treacherous. So people just really need to slow down out there and take their time and don't crowd the snow plows.
Now, both MoDOT and KDOT say they'll have crews continuing to work on the roads, but again, with ice, that's a lot harder to get off of the pavement. And we also spoke with officials with the Joplin Police Department about road conditions and things you can do to stay safe if you are out. And we'll hear more from them tonight on the KOAM News at 6. Reporting live from 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Chris, thanks. Be careful out there. Today, the nation pauses to reflect on the first anniversary of the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. 5 people died as a result of the attack, and more than 700 people have been charged with crimes stemming from that day. Reporter Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with a look at the commemorations in Washington.
These images from 1 year ago when rioters attacked the U.S. Capitol will be forever etched in the minds of the lawmakers and everyone else here on January 6th.
Those of us trapped in the gallery, we lived it. Ducking, crawling under, over railings, hands, knees, the sounds, the smells.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney joined his daughter, Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney, on the House floor for a moment of silence. The president and vice president came to Capitol Hill to mark the solemn occasion.
The American spirit is being tested.
In fiery remarks, President Biden put the blame squarely on his predecessor.
For the first time in our history, a president had not just lost an election, he tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power as a violent mob breached the Capitol. But they failed. They failed.
Former President Trump canceled a planned news conference but released a statement calling today's events, quote, political theater and repeating false claims about the 2020 election.
Donald Trump today continues to spread his poisonous vial about the big lie.
Senate Democrats took to the floor to mark the anniversary and demand passage of voting rights legislation, while emotional support dogs like Douglas made the rounds to put people at ease outside the chamber. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
This afternoon, lawmakers joined demonstrators at a rally and march in Washington to call for voting rights legislation. It'll be followed by a candlelight vigil at the Capitol. The U.S. is imposing new COVID-19 restrictions on military bases. The U.S. forces Japan says all personnel have to wear masks while off base, regardless of vaccination status. COVID-19 tests will also be required before arrival, upon arrival, and while in Japan. This decision comes after local governments criticized the U.S. military for failing to contain the spread of the virus at military bases. Japan has seen a rise in COVID-19 cases lately, particularly in Okinawa. Still ahead, a look at the latest innovations in television tech on display at CES. And next in Health Watch, how psychology can go a long way for athletes trying to recover from an injury. Topping today's Health Watch, N95 respirators can be reused over and over again if they're properly decontaminated. A study published in the American Journal of Infection Control tested the respirators by using vaporized hydrogen peroxide to decontaminate them. The N95s were still effective even after being used and decontaminated 25 times. Researchers say this can help maintain the supply of respirators for future pandemics. The COVID pandemic is negatively impacting the mental health of young cancer patients. A study published in Psycho-Oncology found cancer patients between the ages of 15 and 39 were 85% more likely to experience high psychological distress than before the pandemic. Doctors say social isolation and impaired cancer care due to the pandemic are likely to blame. For an injured athlete, the pain of physical rehab can be grueling. But even when the injury heals, many still face doubt and uncertainty. Today we see how one skier is facing her fear. Annabeth Towernicki began skiing at 3, started racing in high school, but there were accidents, 2 of them bad. The first one, she broke her left knee, tore the ACL and meniscus, and shattered her shin bone.
It was a really tough injury because it's such a long recovery.
The second, a year later, devastating. She broke her right knee on the first practice of the season. One doctor advised her to never ski again.
That, to me, was probably one of the most heartbreaking sentences I've ever heard.
Undeterred, she did a lot of physical rehab, but she underestimated the mental aspect. Her first time back on the slopes, she froze and began to cry.
Every moment of me falling in the past was just replaying through my head, and I couldn't get that out.
That's when Annabeth realized she needed her mind to be as strong as her meniscus.
So really it's about regaining trust in the body part that it will hold up, it will do what it did before, and that's a big impediment for a lot of athletes.
Annabeth used psychology to regain her confidence. Working out on a simulator puts her mind in a better place. It pinpoints details you can't feel on the snow. But there were other tasks. First, she was advised to write a letter to her fear, then tear it up. She also accepted that there's risk in everything you do. Finally, she began to use imagery, visualizing all the joy heading down a hill. For now, she'll continue to get physically and mentally stronger on the simulator and is looking forward to be back racing on the real snow. Sports psychology is especially beneficial for athletes who undergo ACL reconstruction surgery. About 1/3 of them never come back to compete afterwards. Pollution from traffic is causing nearly 2 million children a year to develop asthma. A study published by George Washington University found that nitrogen dioxide, a chemical found in tailpipe emissions, is a major factor in causing asthma. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a local food manufacturer looks for new employees with a hiring fair.
Plus another cold night for us tonight. We're going to give you those details coming up next. Well, of course, kind of a nasty day outside for us today. The snow late last night and then into the morning hours. Most of us were about an inch of snow. It was a very dry, fluffy snow, and even though our temperatures went nowhere today, we melted off at least half of it across the region with getting a little bit of sunshine. So officially in Joplin, an inch for the season, only 1.5 inches when we averaged 12. I forecasted 13, so we need to get moving. We had almost 20 inches of snow for us last year. So a very small storm, but when temperatures are this cold, of course, it causes issues on the roadways, and we saw that during the morning hours for us today. And still some of those side roads are a little slick, so be careful as you are out and about tonight. But we have partly cloudy skies. Looks good. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But look at the temps. It's cold. 14 Iola, 15 Fort Scott, 15 in Lamar. Miami hanging on at 20 degrees, 19 in Anderson, and Independence at 17 degrees. And then we have a little bit of a north wind. It's not very strong, but any wind when it's this cold gives you wind chill factor. So it makes most of us feel to the skin anywhere from 2 upwards to about 10 degrees. And wind chills are going to be sitting near zero once again as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So if you are going to be out, make sure you bundle up tonight into the morning hours as we kind of slide back through the teens. I think most of us will bottom out 11, maybe 12 degrees for an overnight low. All right, all the snow we had earlier this morning, our heaviest really from about 4 a.m. until about 7 a.m. And then we just had light snow showers that worked through. Not too much in northeastern Oklahoma, still at least a half an inch once you get down toward Miami and also Grand Lake. And then it all rolled out of here by late morning, and it's cruising up the eastern seaboard. It's going to produce quite a bit of snow for them. But look what's going on out west. Here's our jet stream. See this big ridge building? This is going to allow the Arctic air to retreat to the north for at least the next week. So we're going to get back to some nicer temperatures as we go through the next few days. Not tonight, near 10 for an overnight low. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, upper 20s by noon. And then I think we'll go into the upper 30s for a high. So any snow out there will melt by tomorrow afternoon. Just a cold start, 33 by noon, high temp at 37 as we go into the afternoon hours. We still drop back into the 20s tomorrow night. Here come the clouds by Saturday morning. May get a little freezing drizzle in here. It wouldn't be a big deal because temperature is warm into the 40s on Saturday. We get these hit and miss light showers. Just a lot of clouds, light showers sticking around Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Saturday night. And then we're going to still have some showers left over on Sunday morning. May mix with a few flakes of snow, not a big deal, but that's our next storm system that we will definitely keep our eyes on. All right, wind chills tonight, again, kind of sitting 0 to about 5 degrees. At least these will start to climb a little bit as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. Still cold tomorrow, but better. 37, 48 Saturday, 41 Sunday. We get back into the 50s by the middle of next week, and really no good chances for snow for at least 8 or 9 days.
Well, once we get through tonight, things will start looking up. Thanks, Todd. Coming up, the newest TV tech. First, though, we honor a local veteran. James Hargett served in the U.S. Air Force. He was stationed in Vietnam as part of a fighter squadron, and we salute Sergeant James Hargett, a four-state hero. To learn about other heroes from all across the area, or to submit a hero of your own anytime, it's very simple. All you have to do is click on the link on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the number of Americans signing up for unemployment benefits rose last week. According to the Labor Department, first-time filings for weekly jobless claims increased by 7,000 to 207,000. Keep in mind, we get the all-important monthly jobs report tomorrow. As more people are without jobs, businesses are seeking employees. That includes Ajinomoto Foods in Joplin and Carthage. The frozen food manufacturer today hosted a job fair at Carthage's Memorial Hall. Officials say they're hiring for multiple positions. Ajinomoto currently operates 9 factories in the U.S., including Carthage and Joplin, and employs a total of 2,800 people. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, has always been a showcase for the latest in television technology. That includes larger screens and a TV that doesn't even need a screen. Danya Bacchus has a look.
New televisions are back at CES and in a big way.
How do you sum up what you're seeing in terms of televisions for 2022?
Well, the thing about TVs this year is that they're getting bigger and brighter and actually more expensive.
CNET's David Katzmeyer says that includes this 97-inch LG OLED TV. There's no price tag yet, but a previous 88-inch version sold for $30,000.
The nature of OLED is that it's a self-emissive technology, meaning it needs no backlight like an LCD. So that means movies really pop.
Tcl is revealing a 98-inch TV that uses a different QLED technology for around $8,000. The good news, the smaller the screen, the smaller the price tag.
We've seen some OLED TVs, the smaller ones, like 48-inch sizes, down under $1,000, which is very new for that category.
It's really easy.
Samsung is changing controls for TVs. Last year, the company introduced a solar-powered remote. This year, there's a new version that can stay charged with Wi-Fi.
They are saying that it can harvest RF waves from like your Wi-Fi router and use those to recharge the battery in your remote.
Samsung is also making TV more portable. The $900 freestyle projector can place entertainment or gaming just about anywhere. LG believes the future of TV viewing could be relaxing in a high-tech recliner with a curved display that rotates. And curved screens could make riding a stationary bike feel more immersive. These are just concepts for now. It's not clear if or when they will actually hit the market. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
CES will continue tomorrow. It was planned to run into Saturday, but organizers decided to cut it one day short because of COVID. The friendly skies had some not so friendly passengers in 2021. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, nearly 6,000 people were reported for unruly behavior last year. The vast majority of the incidents were over masks. Since early last year, the FAA has adopted stricter penalties for passengers, including fines of up to $37,000. Mortgage rates have surpassed 2021 levels, and they're still climbing. The 30-year fixed rate averaged 3.22% this week, up from 3.11% last week. The National Association of Realtors estimates it'll be about 3.7% by the end of 2022. Another economic analyst predicts it could reach nearly 4%. Rates have been expected to rise as the economy improves and inflation looms. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the latest on the investigation into the January 6th Capitol riot. Then on KOAM News at 6, Missouri lawmakers host an election integrity rally in Jefferson City. Plus, we're going to have more on area road conditions and what officials are saying. And Oklahoma authorities investigate a theft ring after hundreds of Amazon packages are found and discarded. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Seems no matter what language you use to tell your dog to sit, she knows you're talking to her. That's the finding of a new study involving language and dogs. Hungarian researchers used MRI technology to scan the brain activity of 18 dogs when a voice read to them in a language they had heard, one they hadn't heard, and in gibberish. Those brain scans showed different parts of the brain lit up when the dogs were spoken to in a language they knew versus one they had never heard. They also showed the dogs could tell a difference between a word they haven't heard and meaningless gibberish. Yeah, a lot of dog owners will not be surprised to know that dogs can be really smart.
Yeah.
They have a pretty wide vocabulary in a lot of cases.
I got 2 smart dogs and 2 very ornery dogs as well.
They can be
stubborn.
both simultaneously. I have the same problem at my house. Yeah. The weather's going to be cold again.
Yeah, so watch those pets tonight because if you're cold outside, they probably are too. And we're going to drop back to about 11 degrees, wind chill factors near 0 all night long. A little better tomorrow, but not great. High temp at 37.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.